If you have been carrying a heavy sense of waiting tonight, allow yourself to settle into the rhythm of the silent journey toward the whispering valley. Elias sat by the window, where the pale moonlight spilled across the glass in sheets of cool, liquid silver. He carried the weight of impatience like a thick woolen cloak, a constant, restless hum against his ribs that reminded him he was waiting for something to arrive, something to hurry along. Outside, the world seemed to move at an impossible, frustrating speed, but Elias was fixed here, anchored by the slow tick of the clock and the profound stillness of his own internal delay. The train did not arrive with a clang or a whistle. It emerged from the deep indigo mist as a breath. It was a silent, luminous entity, built not of heavy steel, but of polished moonlight and soft, flowing shadow. It slid across the landscape without disturbing the air, gliding over fields where moss glowed with an internal, gentle emerald light. Elias watched the passage, letting the silence wash over him. The train moved through a realm defined by deep, slow beauty, carrying him toward the whispering valley, a place spoken of only in hushed whispers, known for its profound stillness and the exquisite slowness of its unfolding. It was a journey not measured by distance, but by the deepening rhythm of the world around it. As the luminous train passed, Elias noticed that the silence was not empty. Instead of an absence of sound, the quiet felt dense and rich, filled with the unspoken patience of the landscape itself. The rhythmic breathing of the valley unfolded in the gentle rocking of the carriage, a slow, steady cadence that began to soothe the sharp edges of his waiting. On the window seat beside him, a small, silver lantern sat reflecting the scene. It caught the light and held it softly, mirroring only a single, slow-moving cloud that seemed to hold a secret about the valley's timeless weight. Elias watched as the mist wrapped itself around the tracks, revealing subtle blooms of forgotten memories unfolding outside, soft, hazy shapes that drifted like ancient dreams. The journey continued in this quiet expanse, teaching Elias that true waiting is not a state of stillness against an external demand, but the quiet acceptance that everything unfolds exactly when it is meant to, without hurry or force. The train hummed its deep, steady rhythm, and Elias leaned back into the velvet darkness, allowing the soft, slow passage of the moonlit track to carry him gently towards sleep. The silence inside the carriage deepened, not into emptiness, but into a rich, woven fabric of unspoken patience. Elias watched as the windows shifted, and the mist that had been clinging to the track began to peel away, revealing landscapes that moved with an almost impossible slowness. The view was no longer just blurred shapes. It was a slow unfolding of forgotten memories played out in soft, watercolor hues. Outside, the fields were painted in shades of mossy emerald and pale amethyst, where silent blooms unfolded in drifts, not the hurried bursts of summer, but deep, velvet blossoms that seemed to have been waiting patiently for this precise moment to reveal themselves under the soft, diffused light. The rhythmic passage of the train was a gentle breath, synchronizing perfectly with the slow unfolding of these forgotten scenes. Elias noticed how the light filtered through the moving mist, catching the damp glass in delicate, shimmering patterns. It was as if the landscape itself was holding its breath, allowing him to witness the quiet history of the valley unfold layer by soft layer. He watched a stretch of land where ancient roots seemed to glow faintly beneath the surface, anchored in an immense, deep stillness. On the window seat, the silver lantern continued its gentle reflection, now catching the slow drift of these luminous mists. The silence was not empty. It was full of the quiet understanding that everything valuable unfolds precisely when it is meant to, without the need for haste or force. Elias realized that the train was not rushing toward a destination, but merely traveling through a deep, meditative space, where time itself moved according to the pace of profound acceptance. The journey continued, each passing landscape revealing another layer of gentle unfolding, a memory of light and quiet, a promise held in the mist. The rhythm of the wheels became a steady anchor, grounding Elias not in the need to hurry, but in the deep, safe reality of the present moment. He leaned back against the velvet seat, feeling the vast, slow tranquility of the valley seep into his bones, allowing the weight of waiting to dissolve into the soft, ambient glow. The world outside blurred into a comforting expanse of gentle blue and cream moonlight, guiding him further into a profound and quiet rest. Elias leaned back against the velvet seat, feeling the vast, slow tranquility of the valley seep into his bones. The hum of the train became a deep, resonant sigh, a sound that settled the restless energy in his chest. Outside the window, the landscape shifted from blurred motion to sharp, breathtaking clarity. The gentle mist, which had been a soft veil during the journey, now peeled back like silk curtains, revealing the whispering valley in all its slow, luminous glory. It was not a place of sudden spectacle, but of profound, unfolding beauty, a vast expanse where ancient moss glowed with an inner muted emerald light, and silent mountains rose, draped in soft, silver-blue haze. The train did not speed up. It simply arrived at the edge of the valley, gliding into a threshold woven entirely of mist and forgotten memory. Elias watched as the polished moonlight spilled over the tracks, illuminating fields where subtle blooms of pale lavender and cream unfolded slowly, undisturbed by any breeze. This was the silence he had been waiting for, a silence that did not demand action but invited deep reflection. As the train slowed to a gentle halt, it entered a space unlike any Elias had imagined, a platform made not of iron, but of woven silence, bathed in an ethereal glow. The air smelled clean and cool, carrying the faint, sweet scent of damp earth and distant, unfelt dreams. Before him lay a quiet balcony overlooking the valley, where the light was soft honey gold, warming the edges of the mist. Resting on the railing of this silent balcony was an old wooden box, dark and smooth with age. Elias reached out and found the box cool against his palm. He opened it slowly. Inside, nestled on faded velvet, lay a single polished stone. It pulsed with a deep, steady rhythm, a quiet hum that mirrored the slow, unwavering patience of the valley itself. This was not a stone of urgency, but a keeper of stillness. The humming taught Elias that true waiting is not about holding breath for an arrival, but about finding the deep rest in the slow, steady unfolding of the present moment. The stone offered him permission to let go of the need to rush and instead breathe in the vast, calming rhythm of the journey. Elias gently closed the box, holding the humming stone close. He felt a profound sense of release, the tension that had gripped his shoulders dissolving into the cool, soft air. He leaned back into the silence of the balcony, letting the deep peace of the valley settle over him like a heavy, comforting blanket. The moonlight caught the curve of his face, illuminating a quiet acceptance that everything was exactly as it should be, unfolding perfectly in the gentle light. The train remained silent, and Elias allowed himself to sink into that profound calm, carried gently by the slow, steady rhythm of the valley's deep peace, drifting towards sleep. The train continued its silent journey, gliding not across tracks of steel, but through fields woven from deep, velvet shadow and polished moonlight. Elias leaned back against the cool glass, feeling the profound safety of the valley's calm settle over him like a heavy, comforting blanket. The rhythmic whisper of the passage was no longer a demand to hurry, but a slow, steady breath that mirrored the deepest rhythm of his own slowing heart. Outside the window, the mist thickened into a soft, luminous veil, unfolding forgotten memories in shades of pale aqua and muted gold. As the train moved, Elias could watch the landscape breathe. The air itself felt thick and sweet, scented with cool pine and the faint, clean smell of ancient stone. The light filtering through this ethereal fog was not harsh, but liquid and gentle, caressing every surface it touched. The landscape was a study in patient waiting. Where the ground lay, luminous moss glowed with an inner, soft emerald light, pulsing slowly like sleeping hearts. Subtle blooms of silver mist drifted past, unfolding themselves exactly when they were meant to, without any sense of urgency or need for force. Elias watched as tendrils of fog unwound themselves from the valley floor, tracing delicate patterns among ancient trees whose bark shone with a muted, silvery sheen. Elias felt the weight he had carried, the restless hum of impatience, and the tight knot of worry dissolve into the soft, airy space around him. It melted away, replaced by a quiet acceptance that everything unfolded exactly as it should be.